What up? What's going on, losers? Because I mean, that's what everyone is, right? Losers, nerds, geeks. I don't know. Can't be me, right? I've got titties, so I'm just a poser. I mean, that's what this hat is, right? I don't even play Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I don't even know why I wear this thing. Like, clearly, it's fake. Like, what's this? What's this behind me? Charmander? No, that's not a real game. Pokemon's not a real game. It has a competitive scene, but no. Oh, cute little gloves. Pff, fake. Fake news. Can't have cute things. No. What's all this? What are these? What are these Dungeons and Dragons books? Do I look like I can read? Girls don't read. My glasses aren't even real. Everything is fake. You guys have been fooled. No woman wears glasses. No woman uses Dungeons and Dragons book. Women don't know how to read. What are you going to tell me next? I'm allowed to vote? I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have enough caffeine. There is not enough caffeine on the planet to fucking keep putting up with this shit. So I bought beer instead. Because, you know, women don't drink beer. They only drink fruity drinks. Yeah, weebs. I did forget about weebs. Dorks is a good one. I feel like a lot of people have been incredibly patient with the nerdiest of the nerd culture. Like, very patient with their very, very sensitive sensibilities. We'll put it that way. So let's jump into this, dive into this. Let's just talk about this. So, the offending tweet that we're going to talk about. I don't know why this person thinks that girls existed in the 80s. Like, I'm pretty sure that's fake news. I'm pretty sure girls didn't exist until like 1995. Give or take. Yeah, give or take a couple of years. Guy likes Dungeons and Dragons and Spider-Man has glasses. Fuck off, nerd. 2020s. Oh, we always loved this. Marvel, I don't think different haircuts, Hellfire Club. This is a studio supposedly posting this? Are you kidding me? Okay. So there are some other lovely ladies that talked about this that are relatively well-known women in the at least the Twitterverse of the kind of TTRPG gaming scene, right? So we're going to talk about Laura here. This is her Twitter, so you kind of have an idea of who we're talking about. She does cosplay. She's great. She's very, very funny. But here's what she had to say about it. Seeing a lot of dudes complaining that girls ignored them because they were into geeky things growing up. I was a nerdy, geeky girl growing up, and those geeky boys weren't interested in me because I had great boobs but an ugly face, or a man jaw, or I was too weird for them. While you may have felt comfortable going out to game stores and comic book shops, I never felt comfortable going to them. I spent much of my childhood alone or with small groups of friends that I trusted. I bet I'm not alone, and a lot of the geeky girls growing up didn't feel comfortable in these spaces either. But it doesn't mean we didn't exist. This thread brought to you by this bullshit and the bullshit comments on that post. A lot of people putting words in my mouth. Maybe I explained myself poorly. You didn't. Maybe they are here in bad faith. Probably. But my main points are two. One, geeky girls have always existed. If you didn't see them, that may not be because they weren't there, but because they weren't comfortable. Or in the same spaces you felt comfortable too. Gatekeeping is really stupid. It was back then, and it is now. Good point. This prompted a quote tweet from a lovely lady named Thorn. Also does cosplay work, and you can see her here. She's adorable and lovely. She's also incredibly sweet and funny as well. And most of the geeky girls who did give y'all the time of day were slut-shamed for it. Hey! It's absolutely wild to remember how much I was called a homie hopper simply because I would talk to / flirt with guys with the same interests as me. So many kept me a secret too. So here's the thing. These women both bring up fantastic points. One, not feeling comfortable in guys' spaces or spaces that were generally occupied by men. The other is the high level of insults that were thrown at them for even existing in that same place. As also a female of the female variety that has spent a lot of time in gaming and geek culture, going to things like Friday Night Magic, some of my worst experiences with men have been at Friday Night Magic. Not at the bar. The guys at the bar didn't care if I was talking about nerdy shit. They were either not interested or they'd be like, hey, that's kind of cool, and then enjoy the conversation. Not the guys at the fucking nerd bar or the Friday Night Magic in the magic shop. I had a man almost flip a whole ass table on me because he lost a game of Magic. Definitely a comfortable space to be in. Needless to say, I stopped going. It doesn't mean that I stopped enjoying Magic. I stopped enjoying Magic for entirely different reasons. I got tired of my sets being completely nuked into oblivion by having all my cards banned all the time. But, that's what I get for playing, that's what I get for playing an Infect deck. To be fair, I deserved it, alright? Like, I deserved my decks to be banned. But here's the thing. Let's take it seriously for a minute. Let's take what these guys here have to say seriously for a minute. Do you not want women to enjoy the things that you enjoy? Do you not want other people to enjoy the things that you enjoy? Or do you not want them in your space? Because to be the bearer of bad news here, I still don't go to Friday Night Magic. I stopped going and I've never gone back. I still don't go and hang out at game stores anymore. It's just not a pleasant place to be. It has nothing to do with the hobby. I enjoy the hobby. I still talk Magic pretty often. I still watch YouTube videos about Magic deck building. I don't play anymore. Because who am I going to play with? Somebody who's going to fucking flip a table on me because they lost? I play League of Legends. Thank God that game does not have a voice chat. Because I would never have played that game if that game had a voice chat. Never in a million years would I have ever bothered. Just because different people are enjoying your hobby doesn't mean that your space is being taken away. You still have your own table, particularly with Dungeons & Dragons. If you're a group of guys who plays Dungeons & Dragons and you get together every Thursday, some women across the goddamn continent also playing Dungeons & Dragons changes nothing about your table. You can continue to play your bullshit game. Do you have misogyny in your game? Fine. I don't care. I'm not playing in it. It's not my game. But when you go ahead and go out of your way to bring your bullshit to my door and just put your bullshit out there and pretend like we just didn't exist for you. Have you ever been a 12-year-old girl? Have you ever seen a 12-year-old girl? Have you ever talked about a 12-year-old girl and how everything, no matter what it is, a 12-year-old girl's not allowed to like it? Seriously, think of anything. Music. If 12-year-old girls like it, it's lame, it's stupid. Color pink. Not allowed to like that. Or you're expected to like that. You take your pick. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You don't like wearing frilly dresses? Well, now you're boyish. Or you're just, different than other girls. Or you're forced into that because you have a different body type, you're like, well, I don't get to or am not comfortable wearing what regular girls wear, so I am forced into a position of being alternative. Oh, God forbid you wear overalls one day. Holy shit. You like makeup? You're a slut. Sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. And creepy 40-year-old men or 50-year-old men will start like slut shaming or being like, why are all these 12-year-olds so attractive? Excuse me? Now, to be fair, has the gaming community gotten better over the years? Yes. I will absolutely stick my neck out and say that the majority of the communities that are online or otherwise have gotten better, and some places and companies have gone out of their way to make things more accessible. Right? Make things more pleasant for everybody involved. Why? Because they want to make money. If I'm being super skeptical about it, or cynical, I should say. Companies want to make money. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but grumpy old dude sitting in his basement with his neck beard and his fedora is not going to fund the entirety of Magic the Gathering. Or do you think you've just been funding this by yourself the entire time? Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Oh no. Oh, you sweet summer child. For shame. For shame. Here's the thing. Nerdy girls have been shit on just as much as everybody else. It's not a contest, but now you're trying to pretend we didn't exist. Why? Because we didn't want to hang out with you? Or because you wouldn't let us hang out with you? Or because you didn't think... Or we didn't think or you didn't make a place that was appropriate for us to feel comfortable with? Oh, hey, Rodent, good to see you. Here's the thing. I'm not even saying you have to cater to women. I'm not saying that you have to run your game so that women feel welcome. What I'm saying is don't pretend like we didn't exist and blame us for it. Like, are you are you kidding? There's more than one reason why a group or a woman wouldn't want to, or a girl, whatever age you're talking about, wouldn't want to play in your D&D group. I don't have a live game right now that I'm playing. I know a group of people. I could go play a pickup game. I'm not going to. I don't want to. I don't want to hang out with those people. They're a bunch of dudes. Is them being a bunch of dudes part of why? Not directly. Their gender doesn't really matter. But they're not exactly the most comfortable people for a female to be around. Especially for any long period of time. Why do I know this? I played with them before. For years. Do you want to know how many times my characters exclusively got grappled by tentacles? It's kind of weird that it happened more than once. And happened with every DM. Women choosing not to hang out with you about a nerdy hobby doesn't mean they don't have a nerdy hobby. You getting shit on when you were a kid in high school doesn't mean other people didn't get shit on in high school. I don't know if you know this, high school kind of just sucks. High school's kind of just ass. You take a bunch of hormonal crazy people who don't know anything about anything. They don't know how to interact with each other. They have very few and very little social skills. Then you're going to cram them from 8 o'clock in the morning or earlier all the way to 3 p.m. in a small confined space, give them an hour to talk to each other, and the rest of the time they have to rotate through classes every day except for weekends. You really think that everybody's not getting shit on in high school? The jocks get shit on in high school. The cheerleaders get shit on in high school. The nerdy girls get shit on in high school. The emo kids get shit on in high school. The geeky guys that hang out under the stairs get shit on. Everyone gets shit on in high school. You're not special. You only feel special because you think Hollywood is real. Stop it. Hollywood put you in a position of always being the victim, didn't they? And that makes you feel like you're special. And so that everybody else didn't get treated like shit in high school. Even when the nerdy people started becoming the heroes in high school movies, you still think you're getting shit on in high school. And assuming that not everybody else is getting shit on in high school, everybody gets it. The teachers get shit on in high school. Nobody likes it. It sucks ass. Does it need to be changed? Probably. But hey, if we're gonna go by tropes here, because I mean, that's what this is, right? We're going by tropes in the 80s. Please tell me how many women you invited to play D&D. Like did you actually walk up with your D&D book and walk up to a random group of girls and say, "Hey, would you women want to play D&D with me? You femoys?" Please tell me somebody actually walked up to some women with a D&D book and asks, do you females want to play Dungeons of Dragons? How many of them spend time shitting on women for their builds not being optimal? You want a really good example? Y'all like Critical Role? Pretty popular, right? It's got a lot of views, got a lot of followers. Had to employ a content policy because so many people like their stuff, and a lot of people do number breakdowns of what they're wearing, breakdowns of what items they have, breakdown on, everything. Yeah, do you guys remember how Marisha Ray was treated for over a year? Because she played a generally bubbly character that didn't always make the best decisions? It's almost like Critical Role was about roleplay and not about optimal gameplay choice. Thorn makes a good point in chat, too. The same people who were mean to the geeky... hold on, I gotta scroll. The same people who were mean to geeky guys were mean to geeky girls, too, so it didn't help that geeky girls got shit on by geeky guys, too. Right. Or shit on for building our characters around their aesthetic first. Yeah, I mean, how often do you be like, well, women are supposed to be like this. Women are supposed to do that. There's a woman in the group and they don't like that I'm hitting on the barmaid to the point where I'm being a really, really forceful. And it's making the woman at the group uncomfortable. Because what it tells them is that, here's the thing. And I know this is really hard for a lot of you. Sorry, once again, I need to take another drink of this. I know it's a stereotype that nerdy guys in basements aren't very socially adept. Like, it's a stereotype, right? But you get along with each other just fine. Interesting, that. But here's the thing. Actually, sidebar. Now that it's crossed my mind. You have no problem getting along with each other, but you can't get along with everybody else because you don't know how to put your own interests aside to be interested in what other people are interested in, or know how to interact with other people who aren't interested in the same thing that you are, and can't deal with anybody who's of a different gender or comes from kind of a different point of view. Funny that... Sorry, back to what I was going to say. Interesting that you have no problem getting along with each other, but a girl walks into the room and y'all are a bunch of snivelly little I can't handle this alien creature. There's a social interaction that happens, and there's more going on than it might seem. If you have a table of men with one woman there, and the table of men is perfectly okay with one character forcefully flirting, being super aggressive, and being, kind of rapey to a woman NPC, the woman at the table is the only girl in the direct vicinity. God forbid you're playing at somebody's house. You are now alone with a group of men that think it's perfectly fine to behave in this manner. many girls just want to come over to my house into my creepy fucking basement to play games with me? God forbid that woman brings a male character to the table. Can't fucking have that. God forbid they have a character with agency that doesn't want to get flirted with by all the guys at the table. God forbid the poor woman who has the DM as their boyfriend. Ugh. Ugh. That's just a bad situation forever. You're just asking for trouble. Uncomfortable overreaction of a group of males when females enter. I think the same happens with jocks. Listen, this is a not exclusive problem. This is men have a habit. I'll reach my neck out here. Men have a habit of being emotionally immature. The reason is not entirely their fault. They're expected to be emotionally immature, so they get babied. And so they get treated like they don't have this emotional experience, or they're told to stray away from showing emotions or being emotional or being affectionate with each other, yada, yada, yada. So society puts them in a position where they don't get to practice having emotions and being emotional and having to deal with that. Women, on the other hand, gets treated the exact other way, to the extreme. Oh, well, you're just able... Oh, well, you're hormonal, so you can just be a bitch. And it's like, no. Being on your period is not an excuse to be an abusive asshole. You need to figure out how you need to deal with that. You got plenty of time. Don't worry. It won't be stopping anytime soon for most of us. So, it is definitely all the way over here and all the way over there. And here's the thing. Mr. Sirius makes a good point. Men are punished for showing emotion. Not always. Depends on the emotion. There is nothing more ironic than a man screaming in your face asking you why you're so emotional right now. Because you're upset that they're screaming in your face, completely whooshing on the fact that anger is an emotion, and if you don't know how to deal with it and you don't know how to handle it, it's gonna be real bad. But what I'm getting at is, because of this, men don't pick up a lot of the time on the more subtle and more complex social interactions that happen in a group, particularly when you throw in somebody that they're not familiar with. So if a group of men are all fine, they've been playing for years, and they're like, whoa, some girl's gonna show up and play with us. Super cool. And then you're all super awkward and weird about everything. And you have to rely on the new female to cater to all your expectations. One of the funniest things you can ever do is talk to a man the way they're talking to you. They flip their shit. There's been so many times that people say I'm being aggressive, and all I've done is match the tone of the room. Or am slightly below. Or somebody tries to start with shit with me. And then I just kind of take a bit of a step forward and say, oh yeah, challenge accepted. Oh, now I'm the instigator. Oh, well, really? Is that how that works? I'm sick of this kind of shit. It's sad. It's pathetic. It completely misrepresents and misunderstands. And I get that it's supposed to be ha ha ha, very funny. But you're really gonna pretend like all the nerdy girls that you shit on in high school didn't exist? Or did you just assume those girls weren't really interested in the thing you were and thought that they were fucking with you? So they played it off like they were because you just hard rejected them. Because everybody in high school is awkward and doesn't know what they're doing. Grow the fuck up. You're not in high school anymore. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what some of these actually say. I want to see some of the comments. Yeah. Is my personality the problem? No, it's the women who are wrong. No, naturally. Pretending like nerds were and still are actively gatekeeping women out of their hobbies by either being aggressively sexist or horribly creepy, instead of playing the victim, stand up for women and minorities at the table and in other nerdy hobbies. Nerdy girls have always existed, but nerds like you have done your absolute best to gatekeep them for decades, so they don't talk about it. You want to talk about how nerdy guys treated girls who were nerds in the 80s, 90s, and 2000? Or you just want to ignore the fact that you incels were always a problem even before you made that name for yourselves? Woo-hoo! Here's the thing, right? And this is exactly correct. Women have been shit on for a really long time. A really long time. And get told what to do a lot. And if they don't behave in the way that some guy thinks that they should, people get mad about it because, you're not showing this man the right amount of respect that he just assumes he gets. Bro, please. Silver for 10 said, I was born in the 1970s, Gen X, my parents were boomers. My first experience with D&D existing was Drew Barrymore playing it in E.T. in 1982. Pretty sure she was a girl. Wasn't Drew Barrymore in that movie only like 7 also? There's also like the whole satanic panic thing and sex being, well, the El Diablo. I was regularly accused of only being interested in male hobbies, music, movies, etc., to attract male attention when I was younger. They were so cruel about it that it just made me lose any interest in being in those communities. Girls aren't just letting boys gatekeep anymore. That's an interesting that's an interesting take because what you've got is that if you like something, you're either doing it to get the attention of guys or you're like the makeup thing I brought up earlier. If you're young and you're interested in makeup, you're a slut. Because what are you putting on that makeup for? Clearly, you're doing it for someone else. It can't be for yourself. Because women never do anything for themselves. They have to be selfless. Just look at anything the transformed wife has to say on the matter. Your whole job is to be there for men because men are unstable. Men can't be trusted to take care of themselves. What do you mean men don't know how to do laundry? A man could work in a kitchen his entire life and not know how to clean his own kitchen at his own house. You could literally have a dude be a janitor and have the worst house ever because there's not a woman there to clean it for him. Because that's the expectation. Maybe men should stop being infantized. Maybe men can take care of themselves and their own space and their own emotional system and their own support system. And that support system can have girls in it, have guys in it, it can have non-binary people in it, it can have people who identify as nothing or anything. Because this is, who cares? It's fine. It's okay. You can do it. I believe in you. You have any idea how relieving it was for me when I was younger, the first gay friend I made. The first gay friend I made, and then another friend that I made who I'm not friends with anymore, but that's mostly because it's not convenient. He was attracted to women who were much larger. And the first gay friend I had, because suddenly there was no expectation. There was no kind of like undermining, no alternative. Do you have any idea how much it hurt my feelings when I had someone who was my friend because they wanted to sleep with me? When men are only interested in your hobbies because they want to have sex with you? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, she's 5 years younger than I am, but the point, sorry, Drew Barrymore, 5 years younger than I am, but the point was that she was playing a girl geek, and somehow my age of peers were under the impression that girl geeks didn't exist. Yeah. Yup. Let me show you the other side. Ooh, somebody made another one. Let's take a look. 1980s, you can't play with us. Play your queer games. 2020, stop shoving your agendas down our throat. Where's the lie? Women have been writing about Spock and Captain Kirk making gentle yet passionate love since the first episode of Star Trek aired. I was bullied for being weird and into vampire books, but that doesn't change that vampire books were and are incredibly popular. I was just socially awkward, and they realized they could use my own interests against me. How many 60-year-old women are telling you they loved comic books? Both my grandmas? The older ladies at work talking about how they were Trekkies. The women at conventions I go to now in their 60s, running booths, cosplaying Doctor Who and Wonder Woman, selling nerdcraft in the artist alleys. As if women haven't been cosplaying for decades. Like, are you kidding me? I just rolled all 100 of my ass eyes. Hi, I'm a guy from the 80s that played D&D. My wife was into all the same fantasy and gaming I was when we met in high school. The problem wasn't the girl's mate, it was you. There it is. There it fucking is. Maybe the reason the women didn't hang out with you was because of you, not the thing that you were interested in. Maybe it was you and your fucking shitty takes like this. Maybe you smelled funny. That can be something that people struggle with in high school. Maybe it was your attitude, because that's a thing people struggle with in high school. Maybe it was your social experience, because you had none because you were in high school. Maybe fuck off. Maybe stop pretending you're the only ones with problems. Maybe stop pretending you're the only ones who were ever interested in a thing. You know, video games didn't used to be marketed towards just men, right? First recorded cosplay was a woman in like the 1920s, right? This gives me a headache. It's just the lack of self-awareness and the like, what does this mean? This is what makes it absurd. What are you trying to say? Are you saying that women are lying? Are you trying to say you don't want women to play? Are you trying to say that you don't want women in your space? Because you don't have to have them in your space at your table. There's a good chance women don't want to play with you anyway. So what, women aren't allowed to play their own game? By the way, speaking of which, I'm playing an all-girls game that's Halloween. That'll be on Sunday, so come and join us over at Amateur Productions live on Twitch. Episode 1's already out if you want to go check out the YouTube channel. It's super spoopy. Basically, what I'm getting at is, get the fuck over yourselves. Watch The Breakfast Club. Maybe learn a thing. Or are you mad that the weird girl, who was probably also a nerd and a geek, that including the nerdy guy nobody fucking talked to, that maybe the fact that she got with the jock had nothing to do with their shared or unshared interests. It had to do with them getting to know each other and then liking who they were as people, irrespective of the things that made them who they are, their identity as what they found interesting. Dungeons and Dragons isn't a personality trait. Magic the Gathering. Reading the card explains the card. If you can read, you can play Magic. Or are we going back to the day women aren't allowed to learn how to read anymore? Is that the direction we're going in? You know what? Fine. We're already lost abortion rights. Fuck it. Fuck it. The full denial of what women have done historically is fascinating. You want to talk about the woman who wrote all on paper the programming for NASA? Is that what we want to talk about? We want to talk about women scientists through history who did their work despite that they weren't supposed to be or not allowed to be? Want to talk about women's contribution to fantasy and sci-fi? How about women artists? How about women authors who used fake names to get their books sold? How about women authors who still use fake names to get their books sold because they're in a genre that their name throws people off for some reason? In 2022. How about the fact that I have a lot of manufacturing experience, like working in factories? And I won't get a callback on a resume unless I change the name to be more gender ambiguous. It sound a little bit more male. Then I'll get a callback. Fancy. Anyway, I'll leave it here. These guys can fuck off. I don't think most men in gaming are like this. I don't think most boys in gaming are like this. I think a couple of more, decade or two, most of this will be gone to the fringes where it fucking belongs. Just don't stop trying to erase our entire existence, pretending like you didn't treat us like shit for decades and are still trying to treat us like shit. Fuck off. Because these are the same people that are like, why don't women have sex with me? Because you're gross. Because you're gross. And we don't like you. And you don't like you. So stop being you. Go be someone else. Go get therapy. Go work on yourself. Go figure that out. That's not my problem. Fuck you. I took your problem seriously enough. I should never have to take it seriously again. And in fact, you know what? For women out there who are looking to join TTRPGs and are looking to join at tables, and are looking to join at online groups, maybe a word of warning. Perhaps it is a red flag to join that party if there is no women in it. If there's no women at that table, maybe there's a reason. And maybe that's something that you should take into consideration as to why that may be the case. Now, it could be circumstantial. That's why I said it's a red flag, not a condemnation. But of course, compartmentalizing nuance and the emotional immaturity probably won't let guys like this catch on to that. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day. Oh, Charmander, baby, I'm so sorry I threw you. Oh, my knees were nothing damaged. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. I'll never throw you like that again. Oh, hey, also, yeah, like and subscribe and become a Patreon or a member if you're interested in supporting the stuff I do, which is mostly making sad men angry. Okay, bye.